How's it going tonight, guys? I'm going to do just a quick unboxing video here. I'm going to have to ask you to forgive my throat. It's been a little scratchy lately, so I might sound a little bit hoarse. Now, what this unboxing is for is I had to enact a warranty on one of my fishing rods, and it was an uglystik fishing rod, which has a 10-year warranty. And let me say, first of all, nobody in the business comes even close to a 10-year warranty. I have a couple other rods that had a 1-year warranty, maybe 2, but nobody comes anywhere near 10 years, which is pretty awesome. Now, uglystik is the highest selling fishing rod brand in the world, so they can probably go ahead and afford to do that. Now, that being said, let's see what we got. Now, first thing I'm going to let you know is when you get this box, up here where the return address is, it's not going to say uglystik, it's going to say Pure Fishing. Now, what Pure Fishing is the parent company. They own many different fishing equipment companies. If you walk down the aisle at your local Walmart in the fishing section, you're going to see a plethora of different fishing rods and fishing reels and fishing lines. And there's a pretty good chance Pure Fishing owns all of those. Just thought you'd find that interesting. And one more quick aside on that whole deal is Pure Fishing back in 2019 was bought out by what's known as a private equity firm called Sycamore Partner out of New York. What Sycamore Partner does is they go around and buy up other companies, downsize, make cutbacks, change operational and manufacturing procedures, and make money off of it. So they buy a business, figure out ways to make it more cost effective, and make profits by doing that. And if you're aware of the world these days, there's a pretty good chance that probably at least half the things you own did not come from where you think they came from. That's just the way the marketing strategies are in the world today. What you see is what you get, but may not be gotten from where you thought it was. All right, enough about that. That's actually a pretty good subject for a future video, which I think I'm going to do because the whole setup is actually kind of interesting. Now, as I said, the uglystik rods come with a 10-year replacement warranty. So what you do in order to enact that warranty is you get on their website and they have a customer service warranty email address. And what you have to do is you have to take photographs of the damage of the rod, what part's broken, photographs of the make and model on the blank of the rod that you wish to be replaced. Then you have to have a photograph of proof of purchase. Now you take all those photographs. I sent probably 10 pictures just to make sure they got what they needed. And you send that along with your name, phone number, and shipping address. And after they review the photos, they will reach out to you by phone and let you know whether or not you're getting a new fishing rod. In my case, they found the rod to be defective and they shipped me a new rod. And the turnaround time they tell you is 5 to 10 business days from the time they process your order. This rod actually came in 5 days. I just got it yesterday. So we're going to take a quick look and see what we got in the box here. As I said, pretty happy with the turnaround time. And the warranty, as I said, nobody comes close to that. least not that I'm aware of. Uglysticks have been around a long time. I've actually owned several through the years. They're not super expensive rods, but they stand behind them. And one of the reasons I went back to the uglystik in this particular case is because, well, I will show you here as we get it out. So we're get it out of the box here real quick. Most fishing rods, I won't say most, but the vast majority will come with what they call ceramic inserts inside the rod guides. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by that here in just a minute. Let's get this out. So this is the top section. As I said, it's a two-piece, excuse me, two-piece. So this is the top half. And then obviously this is going to be the bottom half. Now, when you get this rod, this little doodad here that you see on the butt section is just like what's on it when it's sitting on a shelf in a store. Okay, so there's your bottom half. Now, when I talk about ceramic inserts versus stainless steel, all stainless steel guides, the reason I decided to go ahead and get one of these is I currently have 3 rods that the ceramic inserts popped out of the guides. Not sure if you can see that or not, but that's one piece steel guide. Get closer here. And most of the rods have a ceramic or alnico or zirconium or some other substance insert inside that to help make the rods, the line guides smooth. Now, that's great until one of the guides falls apart like mine did. Then it's basically unusable until you have the guide replaced, because when the insert comes out on most other rods, it's just a rough finished steel, and it's going to cut and abrade your line and pretty much ruin your fishing line. You won't be able to fish with that rod until you get it fixed. So that's why I went with these. So what happened was, when I purchased that rod, there were a couple other flaws that I did not notice when I bought the rod. Now that's why I had to enact a warranty for replacement. One of the issues was down here on this end. Again, I'm not so sure you can see that, but there were a bunch of chippy looking areas around the edge of that ferrule, and it almost looked like the winding may have been chipped, or there may have been a crack in it, and therefore it wasn't seating properly. And then the other problem was up on the butt section here. Again, not so sure you can see it very well, but this upper section actually had a nick in it and also almost like a groove right up there, and then the very end of it was kind of messed up, almost as if something chewed on it. It was just a real rough finish, and that is why it wouldn't stay together. Now there are tricks you can use, and you should actually do that on any multi-piece rod anyway, as you can use, they make an actual, it's called rod wax, or you can actually use a birthday candle or something like that. And what you do is you rub that along the butt section before you put it together. And what that does is help it seat a little more firmly, and it's keep it from coming apart if the rod is properly put together in the first place, if there are no damages to it. Now, whenever you put a rod together, a 2-piece or multiple piece rod, what you want to do is you want to align it in such a way that the butt section, when it slips into the top half, the guides on the top half of your rod, I'm not sure you can see this very well, should be at about a 90-degree angle from the main guide down here. And then as you're putting it together, twist and rotate counterclockwise until it lines up properly. And that will properly seat your rod, and it will stay together if it's built properly. Now, as I peruse this rod, one thing I can tell you right off the bat is this is the newer model, because the model I bought is no longer being manufactured. They supposedly changed or upgraded the rod about a year or two ago. So this is actually the newer model. They sent me this because the one I originally purchased is no longer being made. So they did not have any backstock of that rod, so they sent me the newer version. The original rod was black, almost like a flat black up here. Then it had like a reddish winding down here on the butt section. As you can see, this one is more like a black winding. And the actual color of the rod is, they call it like a steel gray as opposed to a flat black. So the color is also different. And as I sit here and hold this, one thing I can feel is it actually feels like it may be a little bit stiffer. And as I look at the butt section of the rod, it looks like the diameter is a little wider also. So they did change a couple things. So let me just take this back apart. And when you take it apart, you just go the opposite of the way you put it together. Give it a little twist as you pull it apart. And that will keep your rod from having issues when you put it together, take it apart. I'm just looking over the guides and the windings real quick on this. And everything seems to be in good order. And these rods also still have the famous fiberglass uglystik tip that even the original ones had. But these are, the rest of the blank is a more modern graphite blend, less fiberglass, more graphite. And this is, like I said, the elite model, which is probably the second most expensive model they make for fishing rods in general. They make one, it's called a carbon, which is a lighter, almost all graphite model. And it's a little more expensive, but they do also come with the same warranty. And I just want to give you guys a quick look at this. As I said, this is a replacement rod. They reviewed the information I sent them, decided it was warranted, and they sent me a new rod. No questions asked. They looked at the pictures, called me and told me that my rod is under warranty, everything's good to go, and they sent me a new rod. And here it is. Next thing we need to do is put it together, put a reel on it, and ship it out to the creek and see what we catch. Now this one thing I noticed on this is the reel seat's a little different. Actually the blank through at the top, so when you're holding this rod, it's a spinning rod, so your reel's going to be hanging down here like this, and you're going to be holding it like that, and your thumb is going to be right where that exposed blank is, which makes it much easier to feel activity through the rod blank. If you just tap that, so you can feel that right up through your hand. Makes it easier to feel bites, makes it easier to feel what your lure's doing when you're fishing it, which are pretty cool. And it also has the cork grip with the uglystik logo on it. I like the cork grips. This one still has a plastic wrapping on it, which you do want to remove. You may see some guys out there that don't take that plastic wrap off. That is a bad idea. What that will do is eventually start trapping moisture under there, and it'll ruin the rod grip. You want to take that off before you fish. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you. So that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to do a quick unboxing there, let you know what's up. if any of you guys are seeing this video and you have any questions about their warranty that I might be able to answer for you, feel free to leave me a question in the comments and I'll get back to you. And as always, if you're one of my subscribers, I greatly appreciate that. I appreciate every subscriber I have. It's nice to know somebody's actually watching these. And feel free to subscribe if you like what I'm doing. I have a lot of different content on there, so there might be something on there you find interesting. And as always, I appreciate you watching. Thanks so much for everybody's attention, and have a great evening.